Jay, brand new movie that just hit the Netflix streaming service this past week. The film's co-written and directed by Noah Baumbach, who comes off directing his last two movies, 2022's White Noise and 2019's heavy Oscar frontrunner Marriage Story. The film's also co-written by actress Emily Mortimer, who also serves as executive producer and one of the actors in the movie. The film stars George Clooney as Jay Kelly, one of the most famous actors in Hollywood for a 30 to 40-year period. But throughout this film, he's going on a path of self discovery, reflecting on, even though he wanted to be a big movie star, is he lonely? Does he value the people in his inner circle? Did he spend enough time with the people in his family as he's about to get this big tribute at a big event in Italy? Adam Sandler is in the movie as Ron, who is the agent for Jay, as he battles if he's being valued ever for his 30 years of work with his actor. Because in this situation, most actors see their agents as just people taking 15% of their paycheck. Can't be a friend, can't be a family member, as Ron battles that. And this movie has an absolutely stacked ensemble, which includes Laura Dern, Billy Crudup, Riley Keough, and Patrick Wilson. The film is 2 hours and 13 minutes long and is rated R. Welcome back, everyone, to a brand new review here at Max Talks Movies. My name is Max Dinnenberg. We're talking Jay Kelly. So if you're new guys to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. It really mean a lot to me. I'm trying to get to 400 subscribers to start off 2026. We're under 30 subscribers away from that, so please do that. Hit the subscribe button. I talk movies, TV shows, entertainment, awards season. I do rankings. I do theater reactions. I do it all. This is the channel for you if you like all things entertainment. So please subscribe, ring the bell, comment down below. What are your thoughts on Jay Kelly? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Do you think this movie should be in position for a strong awards season, or do you think this movie is just another hopeful Oscar baiting movie? Love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. Also, guys, please hit that thumbs up button. So, I was definitely excited for this movie. I am definitely a fan of Noah Baumbach, both from a writing perspective and from a directing perspective. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Marriage Story and really was underwhelmed by, honestly, his last movie with White Noise. So I was kind of hoping this could be like a bounce back movie creatively for Baumbach. And while I don't think this ever reaches the greatness that is Marriage Story back in 2019, one of my favorite movies of that year, I still think this is a very solid movie. Even though I've never technically worked in Hollywood, obviously I never have worked in Hollywood, I've had multiple people I know, close personal family members, or even best friends work in the industry. And I think because of that, I always have an interest of learning how, and I am fascinated in how the inner workings of how a movie gets made. Not that I want to be in that particular position, but I love seeing how movies, shows, are and actors and all of these people work together behind closed doors. And this movie is definitely about that because we have Jay Kelly, who's George Clooney's character, is a big time Hollywood actor. You have agents, you have publicists, but then you have other family members and other actors, and they add a lot of different elements in here. And I think the actual setup and the plot itself does get me at least invested in kind of what's going on because I love seeing making of Hollywood. Sometimes it can be very pretentious. I didn't find this movie that pretentious at all as it pertains to Hollywood. It really strips it down into the human side of Hollywood and how ruthless Hollywood is as a business. And you see so many times, even on the page, very nice people might not handle their inner circle very well. Everyone kind of has their own entourage and handle their entourage very differently. For some actors, it's pure business, and these people are just there to help make them look better. And you also have to look, and that's why the two leads are Clooney and Sandler, because you're looking at Clooney's side of it, Jay Kelly's side of it, who is this actor who's very famous, literally has a chef and all these different things in his mansion and all these other things. He's so famous to the point where he just can't walk to a regular restaurant by himself ever. He has multiple security guards and all of these things. And you go through the life of that and how he sees the people in his inner circle. And then you have Ron, who has a family of his own that he leaves behind to help be in Jay's life. And Ron sees himself more than an agent. He sees himself as a brother. Sometimes he has to be a father figure to Jay. Sometimes he needs to be a brother to Jay. Then he needs to be a businessman to Jay. And he, at times, doesn't feel like his sacrifices are being felt by the other person. And I think for me, it becomes the crossroads for the movie and why I don't think it's great. The movie focuses and is mainly focused on the title of the movie, Jay Kelly, Clooney's character, who at times is an interesting character. And yes, I'm not like someone who thinks George Clooney is one of the best actors working today or anything like that. I think Clooney is very solid in this movie. The whole bit is Jay Kelly. The whole movie is about playing yourself. And Clooney obviously is playing a very different version, but very much similar to who he is in real life. But I didn't find Jay Kelly, the person, nearly as interesting as Ron. I think Ron is the way more interesting character, and Sandler delivers a spectacular performance. He is the reason to watch this movie. He is tremendous in this film. And if you're at the point where you still can't take Adam Sandler seriously as a serious actor, I just don't know how many more examples you need of why he's such a fantastic actor, because he obviously is very good at playing the everyman, very relatable person, both on screen and behind the screen. And you really feel, obviously, the movie tries to show regrets, reflection, how you should have handled things years and decades ago. Would you have any of these regrets? From Jay Kelly's perspective, but Ron goes through the same thing, which is, what if I maybe spend time with more of my clients and not just Jay? Should I have been in with Jay for 30 years if I never felt, valued? There's a whole bit with Sandler's family, which includes his wife, who's played by Greta Gerwig, who is the real life wife of the writer-director Noah Baumbach. She's always in his movies. She's very good as well. Her and Sandler have great chemistry. But you just feel for Sandler's character throughout the entire film. There's especially a point as a character's on the train between Sandler and Laura Dern's character. Dern plays, I think, the publicist for Jay Kelly. And they have just such an emotionally riveting scene. And it easily was the most moving part of the movie. And this movie is also, from a writing perspective, tough because a lot of what characters are hinting at and talk about are things we do not see in the movie. If it's past relationships, like with Jay and his college friend who's played in this movie by Billy Crudup, or if it's Ron and Liz, played by Laura Dern, who both work for Jay, but they used to be a couple, and they had to kind of split off due to the fact that they both work for Jay, and one saw it as a family and one person saw it as a business. And it's all implied, but I thought that one scene, that one powerful scene as they just got off the train between Ron and Liz, I thought was the most powerful scene of the movie, and just true tremendous actors at the very top of their game. Billy Crudup is not in this movie for very long, but he really makes his impact here, especially doing some interesting method character acting as it pertains to the character in the movie. Excellent stuff from Billy Crudup. Riley Keough gets a lot of things to work with as well. Just a really strong ensemble here. And this is very different from a filmmaking perspective from Baumbach, who usually makes very intimate, very New York type movies, where they're in apartments, or a lot of the movies do take place in New York, where they're very intimate. And this movie is basically completely in LA or Europe. So it's very lavish and fancy, as they say, and it's a very different place that Baumbach puts himself in, a new challenge. I think from a filmmaking perspective, I think he executes what he was going for. But as I said, for me, from a script perspective, sometimes I just didn't feel the emotion with Jay Kelly. I thought the movie took way too long to get interesting. The movie really doesn't hit next year until Billy Crudup enters the fray, which is the first. I don't think he enters the movie until 25, 30 minutes into the movie. So again, this movie is over 2 hours, like 2:13. Definitely does not need to be that length. And as I said, they would cut back and forth between Jay and Ron. And again, they would focus more on Jay, but when they cut back to Ron, that's the story I wanted them to settle down with and focus on, but we can't. It's not Ron's movie. The movie's called Jay Kelly. We go back to Jay Kelly, And I think this movie can at times be very repetitive, where Jay sees a memory, but then acts the exact same way awfully to his other people, sees another memory, acts awful, sees a memory, acts awful. The movie is quite repetitive. And again, it wouldn't feel that way if they cut some of this down, but they drag this out to 213. I do think from a script perspective, I just don't think they had enough story there from the Jay Kelly character to get you to that runtime. And again, it's the dueling thing. Sandler's the best part of this movie. He is the character you're rooting for, and he's the character you're relating to. It's hard for anyone to be able to relate to Jay Kelly. And I think that's the problem. I felt distant to Jay Kelly, the character, because I don't know what it's like being that famous or that where you can't walk around without someone noticing you or you need security guards and the pressure that is and the sacrifices you make. But we can't relate to Ron. We've been around people who we've worked for, who we feel like have those personal relationships with. And then 1 second later, you'll never talk to them again because they didn't see you as a family member or a friend. They saw you as someone who's taking money from them. So that's the character I thought they should have gone with. They didn't, and it makes this. I think it's a good movie. I just don't think this is a great movie. So overall, I'm giving Jay Kelly a 3.5 out of 5. I'm going to go 71% for Jay Kelly. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section down below. Like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you guys in another video very soon.